Recording? Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session about teaching math with Minecraft EDU. Hi, I'm Tim Gallus. I'm going to throw it over to my friend Miss Nix over here, who will introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mrs. Nix. I'm very happy to be here with you guys today. Just a little bit about me. I get to train Minecraft to a lot of students and a lot of teachers all over the globe. But if you look at the map here, this is where I'm located. This is where I live in Shoreview, Minnesota. So you guys can take a look at where you're located and see how far away we live. It's actually very cold right now. We were having an actual heat wave today, so it was above 0 degrees. That's always a plus for me. So I'm excited to share with you my co-teacher today, Mr. Gallus.
And like Mrs. Nix said, I am Mr. Gallus, and I don't have a map on my particular slide here, but I am located in Casper, Wyoming, which is kind of in the center. I actually can kind of show you about where that is. I'm about right there in Wyoming. It's been warmer here, not as cold as it sounds like it's been over where you're at, Miss Nix, but it's very windy where I live, which is unfortunate because most of the time the wind just keeps blowing and blowing. So we are both Minecraft Global Mentors, though, and we like to share Minecraft with people. So we want to share with you how you can use Minecraft in a classroom and how you can take some of those math concepts and apply it inside of Minecraft, which would be very handy, I think, from your perspective. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. I like the hands-on math learning within Minecraft. It's going to be a lot of fun today.
That's right. So when we're doing a meeting like this, of course, you may be watching this too, but we want to make sure that we will be sharing some ideas with you, whatnot, but we want to make sure that your mics are muted. If you do have questions or whatever, feel free to ask away, though. If this is a Teams meeting like this, obviously you can raise your hand. We can call on you. How about we rock and roll? You want to tell them a little bit about what a Minecraft Maven is?
Absolutely. So our Minecraft Mavens are what we like to call those that are really experienced with Minecraft. If you play or have used Minecraft at home, you have some skills about how to move and how to do various different things. So we would encourage you to help out your fellow classmates that might not be as experienced as you. So I would love for you guys to raise your hand so that your classroom teacher that's there with you can identify who our Minecraft Mavens may be. So if you have used Minecraft or you play Minecraft at home, go ahead and raise your hand so that your teacher can see who the Minecraft Mavens are in your classroom. And make sure you raise your hand really high. We don't want these shy little hands. Be bold about being a Minecraft Maven. We're very excited about Minecraft and we're very proud of you guys for having those skills. And for those of you that might not have that Maven level yet, it's okay. I guarantee you, you can get there too.
Well, we all have to start somewhere, don't we? So,
That's
we
right.
all can kind of remember what it was like the first time you went into Minecraft and you probably felt a little uncomfortable and not sure what you were doing. That's why friends come in handy who know what they are doing.
That's right.
So we do have a little bit of housekeeping business to take care of where we want to talk to you just to give you a few tips and tricks about how you can navigate through Minecraft so it's not as confusing. We do want to kind of recognize there are some keyboard shortcuts that are very important for you to remember. So on your screen, you can kind of see there are some keyboard shortcuts with W, S, A, D. Those are your directions. So if you're using a device that has a keyboard, you definitely want to take advantage of those. If you're using a touchscreen, though, and you do have a device that has a touchscreen, feel free to drive away on the touchscreen. I think if you're a beginning player, that's one of the easier ways to kind of navigate through Minecraft. You can also jump with that space bar. And I believe, since this is a creative world that you'll be jumping into today, you can actually fly and kind of check things out from above. If you press the E button, you can go check out your inventory, which is just all of the supplies that you have available to you. And you're actually going to have some preloaded ones for you today. And then also, I wouldn't worry so much about the chat button so much, but if you want to look at your inventory, so up there at the top of that screen right here, in this little area right here, kind of shows you what your inventory is. And it's going to be located at the bottom of your screen called a hotbar. And inside of those each one of your corresponding numbers, 1 through 9, will jump to whatever inside of your hotbar that you want to go to. So if you want to switch to number 4, hit the keyboard 4, and that's what you will have in your hands to either build or use in Minecraft. And then there's also a way for you to kind of use your arrow keys and through, if you're in a portfolio and you're trying to add some things, because we're talking math today, so you're going to be putting some formulas in, all you got to do is just use your arrow keys to kind of direct yourself around inside this portfolio. All right, so today we're talking about some essential questions for you to use inside of this Minecraft world. The handy thing about this particular Minecraft world is, hey, it's about perimeter and area, right? And Minecraft's made out of blocks. So the best part about this is we're going to talk about how we can use Minecraft to share and show and solve real world math applications. And then because it's made out of blocks and everything, so we're going to talk about how we can solve problems that use area, perimeter, and volume using those blocks that we have for us. And then it's never a bad idea to think about why you're using these math. Why is it important to use this math, and why is it important that we have area and perimeter and volume as part of those things? Okay, you want to cover this part, Mrs. Nixon?
Sure. Some of our objectives, we want you guys to be able to recognize volume is a 3-dimensional space. Minecraft is 3 dimensions. When we talk area and perimeter, that's more of a 2-dimension. But when we get into the volume, which is going to be an extension of our lesson today, so if you do really well with area and perimeter, you're going to be able to go and answer some volume problems. Okay, so that is a 3-dimensional space because we're looking at 3 different axes. Okay, we're also going to be able to help you write and interpret numerical expressions. So how you solve area and how you solve perimeter and how you solve volume all have an expression. And so there's a formula that you're going to learn. And then to be able to understand that volume can be measured, finding the total number of the same size of units, okay, and filling the spaces. And sometimes when we think about volume, what we see on top of the surf, on top of the land, is a little bit easier to judge volume than it is inside or down underground. But you're going to have an opportunity in here to take a look at that also.
All right. So just a real quick reminder that when you're inside of Minecraft, like if we think about these blocks that we're building with and that we're using, typically in Minecraft, they're a meter. It's a meter cube. So each side is worth a meter. That's just kind of like standardized, but that doesn't mean that if your problem you were trying to solve used a dimension like a foot or something like that, that you couldn't probably just change that for that. You just got to remember this is a square unit or a cubed unit of whatever it is that you're using. So when we talk about these math concepts that we're going to be covering today, one of those is perimeter. And if you remember, I'm sure most of you have covered this at some point in your math journeys before, but perimeter just means like if I take a shape and I go all the way around it. So I can use my little highlighter tool and I can think, ooh, I'm not a very good drawer with this sometimes, but if I go all the way on the exterior of this with my little laser pointer, thankfully that disappeared, but it just means I'm going all the way around the shape, right? And if I added all of those sides together, it would give me the perimeter. And then, of course, what Ms. Nix was talking about there as far as formulas go, if I took 2 times A and I multiplied, or I added that to 2 times B, that would also give me the perimeter around that particular shape. And you can kind of see right here on the bottom, that's going to be something that you'll see in game here in a few minutes when we get to it. Of course, when we talk area is just a little bit different because I'm talking about, this is a cube, I'm talking about the face of this particular area, which is just one of the, you got to remember that a cube has 6 sides, but I'm only talking about one of those square pieces that make up the cube in this case. That's why it's highlighted in red on there. And in area, you just remember the formula for that one is I multiply length times width. So you can kind of tell when I talk about area, I'm talking about square units. And that's why if I'm looking at something like this down here, I'm not worried about how much space it's taking up in a 3-dimensional space. I'm really only worried about that 2 dimensions where I can see, oh, hey, that's made up of 9 squares. So that would be 9 square units.
And Mr. Gallus, I would even encourage the students to write these formulas down. So if we go back to our perimeter, if you want to write side 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, so we add all 4 sides, then that is equal to your perimeter. When we're talking area, Then we're going to use our multiplication, and we're going to go, the area is equal to the length times the width. So write those down so that you have those with you. So when we go into world, if you forget what that formula is, you have it right beside you.
That's right. And then one last little bit that we're probably not going to get to too much today, but I want you to just recognize and realize that you can still talk about things like volume, which adds that third dimension where I'm talking about length and width and height. And I can actually use those cube units to recognize how much space that particular whatever building or whatever it is that you're trying to look at is taking up, or whatever space it's taking up. I can talk about how many cubes it takes to make those. And so you've probably used that in math before, or you've used those little math manipulatives, right? Well, in this case, you get to use it for a Minecraft block, could be your math manipulative. Okay, and then of course, if we talk a little bit about surface area, that just means this is just another extension beyond this too, that I'm talking about all of those things. If I think about the area of each one of those faces of a cube and I added them all together, that would give me the surface area for a particular block or whatever the shape might be. So if I look at this rectangular prism right here, I can think about each one has the same area as the opposite side. So basically, 2 times each one of the areas of those opposite sides would give me the surface area for that shape.
And that's an extension. We're not expecting you guys to do that today, but if you are one of those math wizards and you guys understand math really well, we want you to be able to work at your pace. So feel free to be able to challenge yourself and go ahead and find those surface areas or working on the volume.
That's right. So once you pop into the Minecraft world, which you're going to do here very shortly, you're going to actually end up with some of this inventory, like I told you earlier, is already going to be in your hotbar, including some blocks. You're going to have a camera, which is pretty handy. We'll show you how to use that real quick if you don't know how to use that. And then your portfolio is going to be your place where you're going to keep your work. You're going to take pictures of it, and then you're also going to write us some math formulas for that. And then eventually, maybe you'll get to use a book and quill, potentially, where a book and quill just means like maybe you want to write some word problems and you want to show off your work just a little bit more. It's a place where you can type and add a little bit more text than you would in the portfolio. And then, of course, this is our big giant, hey, you know, if you see this creeper guy and you see him at any point during our presentation, just kind of means we need your attention. Okay, we all know if you've played Minecraft before, you see a creeper, especially when you're littler, you probably jumped a little bit, you saw the creeper, you got a little freaked out by him. It's just a little attention grabber for you to make sure that you know, hey, we need your attention. We're going to share something with you real quick.
Right. And even if you don't see this, because I know when you get into Minecraft, you guys are going to be so focused on solving these math problems. If you hear Mr. Gallus or I, either of us say creeper, maybe you don't see the slide, but if we say creeper, we also need your attention to just stop what you're doing, and we will bring you back to the game real soon.
Right. So one way that you're going to grab this world, because we've kind of customized it a little bit for your benefit today, to go do some of this work that we want you to do inside of Minecraft, is you're going to go access that via this Padlet. And we just need this link. If you've got a QR code where you can scan that real quick, awesome, go to it. And then you're going to go to this you're going to go to this place. I'll show you real quick. I'm going to stop sharing this part and I'll go to the Padlet itself right here. And this is actually where you're going to go get the Minecraft world that you need for this particular lesson. So once you click on this, it should start downloading to your machine. And then as long as you got Minecraft loaded up on your device, you should be able to open that file and it will import automatically into Minecraft. All right. What do you think? Should we get started?
Yes. And so, for your teachers, the classroom teachers, if you're having students that are having a hard time with getting to that Padlet, I did also put that URL in the chat so that you can take a look at that and make sure your students are able to get in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Padlet and you're going to click on the world. We're going to download the world from Padlet. So all of you guys are going to be going into the same world, but you're going to be in your own instance of that world. Okay. So from the Padlet, you're simply going to go over here and click on area, perimeter, and volume. Okay, and then you're going to see up at the very top that it says download. So it downloaded. Now, depending upon where your downloads default to, typically it's your downloads, but sometimes it's different. So you need to know where that is. Okay, Then what you're going to do is you're going to open up Minecraft. Okay, so let's get into the world. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen here with you so you can see where we're going. We'll let that download for you. Okay, and once you get into Minecraft, so you're going to open Minecraft Education Edition and sign in. Right, and once we all sign in, we're going to go to play. Now stick with me because I don't want you to get too far ahead of me, otherwise we may end up in the wrong place. This happens all the time, so stick with me. Now your first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go in and find a world or create new. We're not going to do that because remember we just downloaded that file from our Padlet, so we're going into a specific file. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to import. Right, so in the bottom right here, we're going to click import and we're going to go find that world that we just downloaded. So in my downloads, it is area, perimeter, and volume. And I'm going to click that one time and then click open. Okay, and you should get a little message that says the level imported finished successfully. So we'll give you a couple of minutes there to make sure that that imports correctly. When it does, you should see that world in View My Worlds. Okay, so again, import, go to your downloads or wherever that file downloaded to, okay? Find the name of it, click once and click open and wait for it to import. We're then going to go to View My Worlds. And you will see that the very first world here should be called our area, perimeter, and volume. And so when you click on that, then we're going to go and click play. Okay, so we're going to give you a couple of minutes just to make sure everybody's getting in there. And classroom teachers, if you're having a little bit of struggle, just let us know in the chat that you need a little bit more time, and we can make sure that we give you a little bit of time here to get all your students logged in. Most times we find that students don't have trouble getting in, but again, Minecraft Mavens, if you're there and you're already in, you can help your fellow classmate to get in as well. That's part of our Maven duties.
That's right. And if you actually open that file before, if you press that after you downloaded it, sometimes it automatically imports into Minecraft. So it might be in your View My World already, which would be handy, but never hurts to have a backup way to get there.
That's right. Okay, so we'll give you just a couple of minutes here to make sure that you guys get in. And when your world does open, stick with us for just a little bit. We're going to take about 5 minutes to give you instruction so that you are aware of what we're expecting of you guys in this world. Okay? So we'll make sure that everybody has a moment to get connected and get logged in and find the world and make sure we're all good to go. Okay. So I'm going to have you guys deactivate. Now, if you hear Mr. Gallus or I say deactivate or creeper, here's a good time to use creeper, right? We're going to have you take your hands off your keyboards, off your mice, and don't touch. Just use those ears to listen, all right? So we are going to be talking about the area, perimeter, and if you finish area and perimeter, we can move on to volume. But in this world, it's going to give you a visual representation to learn the concepts of these three math concepts. So you're going to use the formulas, which hopefully you wrote down, okay? So your perimeter is side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. And then your area is your length times width, and your volume is your length times width times height. Okay? Now, you will notice that this board right here has all of this information in here for you. It also says we're going to use the camera to document your work, and I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. So stay with me. We're going to stay creepered here, okay? And once you've completed your area and perimeter puzzles, you're going to build 2 different structures. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. And again, once you build those 2 structures, then you can go on to the volume. Okay, If you complete the volume, we've then given you another challenge where you could use the letter C. And if you look on the left-hand side, that's your code builder. So you could actually have your agent, if you're good at coding or you want to try this out, you can code your builder, your agent, to actually build those structures for you. Okay, so again, you don't have to do that. Our primary focus here is for you to understand the perimeter and the area of these structures. Okay, now remember when Mr. Gallus was talking about your hotbar, those 9 squares at the bottom. And if I use my keyboard, the numbers on my keyboard, so if I hit 2, you see it moves over to my orange concrete. 3, 4, so on and so forth. In the 8th position of your hotbar is your camera. And notice on the bottom right, I have this black and gray checkerboard. That is my camera in my hand. And so anything that I am looking at and I have my camera selected, I will be able to take a picture of. Okay, and I'll show you how to use that in a minute. When you take pictures, they automatically go into your portfolio. So you don't have to worry about saving those pictures. They're going to automatically go to your portfolio, and then you can go and take a look at that portfolio and put captions at the bottom of those pictures at a later time. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and start. So we're going to move over to the right here, and just behind this board, we're going to see our first structure. Okay? And you will notice here that I have a slate, and it has A equals question mark and P equals question mark. And if you can't see that, we'll kind of move over a little bit better here for you, okay? This is where you are going to write your answers. The key thing that I want you to keep in mind is that if you look at the controls on the bottom right of your screen, it will say if you right click, you're going to edit. If you left click, you're going to mine. We don't want to mine here, okay? We want to edit. So this is going to allow you to write on this slate. And again, you can use the back button and you can type in whatever it needs to be, okay? And again, Mr. Gallus told you we can't use our mouse cursor to put where we want, so we have to use our arrows to get up to the area, okay? So that's how you're going to navigate through those slates. When you put your answers in, you're going to simply close it. Your answers will remain on the slate. So there is a slate in front of each of these structures. What you're going to do is take a look at these structures, and Mr. Gallus gave you a really neat tip in the fact that you can fly. So when you double space, let's try it again, I can fly up and get a better view of what this structure looks like. Now notice some of these patterns of blocks are a little more difficult to see, but we do have a grid on the bottom of these structures, so that will help you to guide you in how many blocks or how many squares each structure has, okay? And so you can move by using your W, S, A, and D, use your guide and your controls on the left, and when you are going through here, if you are not close enough, okay, so let me show you this one. We'll walk down to the next one. If I'm not close enough and I'm too far away, notice I can't, oh, maybe I can. You get too far away, I don't have anything on the bottom right, so I can't edit that slate. I need to get closer. So just make sure that you are close enough where you can edit. Once you have put your answers on your slate, you're going to go to number 8 on your hotbar and select that camera, and then you are going to, not on the slate, because that's going to make you edit, right? We want to make sure that in the bottom right it says use, because now we can use the camera and take a picture of our answer with our structure. This is going to be how you are going to demonstrate to your classroom teacher and to Mr. Gallus and I that you understand and wrote the answers to these problems. Okay, so you will notice on this side, you will answer area and perimeter for all of these structures. Okay, and remember, after area and perimeter of all of those structures, you're going to come down here and you're going to see, okay, this is your building area. So now you are going to build a structure that has an area of 30 and a perimeter of 22. So now we're challenging you a little bit. This is going to be one structure that has an area of 30 and a perimeter of 22. So you might have to think a little bit. And then we're going to move across over here. And structure 2, you can build in this area. So you can use the blocks that are in your hotbar 1 through 7 to build those structures. They can be colorful if you want. You can use your creativity however you want, as long as we have the area of 30 and a perimeter of 34 on structure number 2. Okay? If you complete that, that is our main goal for this session. If you complete that, then you're going to be able to move to this side and you're going to see volume. Now you notice how we're getting into those 3 dimensions. Okay, our length times width times height. All right, we are going to give you some time here for independent work. Okay, and so let's give them, let's go 25 minutes. How does that sound, Mr. Gallus?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I'm going to pause my game. Let's check and see if there are any questions right now. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. And I don't see any questions in the chat. If you have questions, make sure that you raise your hand, ask your classroom teacher. They will come to us and ask us questions. We're going to be here to help support you. We're going to put a timer on the slide, so on the screen, so you're going to be able to see that. If you hear us say the word creeper or you see that creeper slide at any time, what are we going to do? Hands off. Make sure that we stop, pause, so that we can give you some quick instruction, and then we'll come back. Okay? All right. So let's get that timer up there, and we're going to let you guys go ahead and work. Solving your area and perimeter first, building those 2 structures with a specific area and perimeter, and if you finish those in the time that we are allowing you, go ahead and move on to the volume.
Oh, all right. Give me just a second.
You guys go ahead and work. We'll get the timer up for you.
Right. I will get that started in just a second. All right.
There we go. And remember, Minecraft Mavens, if your fellow classmates need help, make sure you let them know that you're going to be willing to help them. And even if you're not a Minecraft Maven, maybe you're a math Maven. This is the fun part too. So if you're really good at math, you might be able to help those that are really good at Minecraft. This is a team type of thing. We can share our knowledge with each other.
That's right. And I mean, if you guys really want to, this is just a little suggestion for perimeter. Works a little better for perimeter than area sometimes, but you can actually build on top of some of those structures that are on the side. If you want to count your blocks out, double check your answer, make sure it's okay, you can actually build on top of that just to see if your answers are indeed correct.
That's a good idea. Creeper, I have to try it. We got to get your attention. Hands up for just 1 second. I want to remind you guys that it's very important to use that camera and take pictures of all of your answers. So for each problem, make sure you go to number 8 on your hotbar, grab that camera, use it, make sure it says use in the bottom right, and take a picture of your answers, because this is going to be your answer sheet that we're going to turn in. We're going to share with you how you're going to turn that into us in just a little while when you're done working. But remember to take those pictures. They're very, very important. Okay. All right.
And
go ahead.
for a little bonus, they could probably even put the formula with the right, like the numbers underneath as the caption to that picture. I think that'd be a better thing to see.
Great idea. That's a great idea. And we'll show you how to do that here as soon as you're done solving your problems, but make sure you're taking those pictures. Okay, go ahead and back work again.
You guys, that might be a little more on the inexperienced side too. Don't forget, if you accidentally break a block or something, don't worry about it. Just replace it, put it back in there. You still got this, no big deal. It happens to everybody. Some of the first time they're playing Minecraft, they break blocks accidentally. That's why we're giving you all those ones in your inventory so you can replace the ones that you may accidentally break.
And that's funny that you mentioned that, Mr. Gallus, because as you had just mentioned that, I went back into my Minecraft world so I could take some pictures of my work, and I accidentally broke a block that I didn't mean to break. So it happens to those of us that have been doing this a long time too, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to share a little tip and trick with you though too. When you go in, if you're using an external mouse that has the little rolly ball on there, if you go and let's say you break one of those white blocks that's not in your inventory, you can actually use that rolly ball, but instead of rolling, if you click on that, it'll add that block into your inventory. Little secret for you.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. It happens to me all the time. So, it's a learning process in this environment. So sometimes you might need that tip and trick, and you can share it with your friends also.
I just think it's a good idea to know, hey, I mean, you guys have probably seen Minecraft before being played by a lot of people. Maybe you've seen some YouTube videos and stuff, but we are just trying to share this with you in regards to, like, it's not always about whatever they're playing, PvP, all that stuff. This one's just a way to kind of relate this to the classroom. If you want to see more like stuff like this, then it's a good idea to participate in it just so you can kind of go, hey, I can use Minecraft to help me with my math. That's awesome.
Just wanted to let you know you have about 14 minutes, no rushing. We just want you to know your time and how much time you still have remaining to work on your area and your perimeter.
Hopefully some of you have actually made your way over to that build area because you've gotten those ones done. Just think about it. There's probably more ways to get to some of those answers, but we want you to get those specific dimensions on that particular one. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't think that's going to work for all of the different ways you can make some of those areas perimeters.
Now, to have that one structure, to have that specific area and that specific perimeter.
Right.
That's the ticket.
I think a lot of people probably assume that the area is probably always going to be bigger because it involves multiplication, which I think if you probably noticed on that first one, probably didn't work out that way for you so much because the perimeter actually ends up being a little bit bigger than the area. So in most cases, yes, probably the area is going to be bigger, but you never know. It's not always the case.
Yep. And that's why we need to know both and how to solve for both of those areas. And Mr. Gallus, I have to tell you, one of the ways that I have recently used this is in my own bedroom. I bought a new bedroom set and I have a dresser and I have side tables, and I had to know It was actually the volume, because I needed to know the length, width, and height in order to fit that in my room just right. And it's those types of things that we don't always think about. But if you're rearranging your bedroom, or, if you have a room that's your own, that's not your bedroom, maybe it's your classroom or your office at home, you might have furniture in there, and you're going to have to, if you rearrange, is this going to fit in that specific spot that you want it to go in? These are going to be all key things that you need to know how to solve. That's going to help you to figure out, hey, you know what, that desk might not fit there, or my bed might not fit this way. All of those things that we might not think about.
Right. And I don't know about you, but I always think, when I think of perimeter, I just think about, oh, hey, I'm going to put a fence around something. I mean, if I was thinking about obviously it's not always going to be a perfect rectangle or anything like that, but just a way for you to think that's what I'm going, surrounding something on the edges of it. And if you think of, like you were talking about a room, you got to recarpet a room, you got to know the area.
Yep.
Or tile, or whatever it is that you might be using. Those are great instances of area, perimeter, all around you.
Yeah, my daughter, she tied it into her birthday party because she was putting a table skirt around the table, and she didn't want it to just go on the sides and the front. She wanted it to go all the way around. So she had to know the perimeter of that table to make sure that that skirt was going to go all the way around. I said, see, math is important.
Who knew?
Right?
Never hurts to review this stuff too, because this is probably something you saw. I don't know about you. I mean, I taught a little fifth grade at some point in my career. We talked a lot about volume back then. Fourth grade, I believe, you talk about area and perimeter. So it's one of those things that kind of keeps coming back around every once in a while, and something you should not forget how to do.
Yep. And that's why one of our essential questions, why is it so important to understand perimeter, area, and volume? You get your mom and dad to build a swimming pool in your backyard, you got to know the volume of that swimming pool. Otherwise, you won't know how big it's going to be, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying you guys have to go home and tell mom and dad to build a swimming pool. I'm just giving you an example.
But then you can talk about how much volume of a liquid takes up too. I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
With the water.
Yep. Just a little over 8 minutes of work time, and then we're going to bring you back together. And as you're going through these problems, maybe thinking in your head other different ways that you might now be able to recognize where you could use perimeter in solving for perimeter or area in your world. When you leave the classroom and you go home, where do you see this? And start applying that knowledge when you leave the classroom. And hopefully you Minecraft Mavens are helping each other out. And my math Mavens, hopefully you guys are helping out also. We're all in this together.
And I think it's important to stress, if you are a Minecraft maven, it's good for you to practice sharing how to do some of those things, not doing it for the other people, because that's our tendency, I think. When you know how to do something, it's just you want to like kick the person out of the driver's seat kind of thingy. But like, if you use your best teaching voice and kind of direct them, tell them where to point, or click and do all those kind of things, but don't do it for them.
Right.
Just make sure you're actually letting them, so that way they get a little more familiar with it.
And they can learn too. That's a great point.
Well, I think as teachers, I mean, Gosh, I'm sure you've trained a few teachers in Minecraft before. You probably had to let them do it. Let them do
Yep.
it, because even teachers got to learn.
Mm-hmm. And even with my students, it's a lot different using Minecraft at home, which is a completely different version than this one, and going from your Xbox controller, which has, I think, 21, some of them have even more buttons than that now, but 21 different buttons, to going to using a mouse and a keyboard. That in itself is a new learning experience. And so that might be a little struggle for some of our Mavens coming in. So that kind of puts them on the same playing field as everyone else just getting into Minecraft for the first time. So
Those external mice, sometimes that's what, if you got one and you know how to use it, you can probably see some Minecraft players connecting something to their computer, because that's what they prefer.
Yep. Okay, 5 more minutes, and I think we're just gonna shush, and when you guys hear us use that keyword creeper, we'll have you stop and come back, but we're gonna give you about 5 more minutes. Okay, we have 2 minutes remaining, so I would like you to finish up on the problem that you are on right now. So finish that problem. Make sure you take your pictures. If you've forgotten a couple of your answers, make sure you go back with that camera and take those pictures, so that in the next minute and a half, we'll be able to come back together. Okay, so we're going to give you that minute and a half to finish the problem that you're on and make sure that you have your pictures taken.
Well, on a stress. It's okay if you're in different spots. Not a big deal. Ooh, it's just like New Year's Eve. I don't know if it's going to be a buzzer or not, but we'll see.
4, 3, 2, 1. Creeper! Okay, everybody deactivate. We've got the creeper. Okay. All right, so go ahead and hit escape on your game because we want you to pause your game. All right, so we've got creeper, hands are off, hit escape, so that pauses your game. This is what we're going to do next. Okay, when you do that, we're going to hit escape and we're going to go to save and exit. Okay, and we're going to save and exit that game. This is going to save this world and all of your work to the device that you are currently working on. What we're also going to do is we're going to show you how you are going to turn in this assignment to us. Okay. So we're just going to save and exit this one time to make sure everything is good. But then I'm going to have you go back in. I'm going to show you how to find it again. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here into view my worlds again. Okay, and we're going to go and find that area and perimeter. And we're going to go back and play, but we're not going to do any more problems. We're not solving any more problems. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use all of those pictures that you took. Okay, and we're going to use that portfolio. That is going to be your evidence that proves to Mr. Gallus and I that you understand how to solve for perimeter and how to solve for area. So what we're going to do when this loads up, and I apologize if your computers are a little bit slow, it's okay. This is a great way for us to learn patience. Sometimes we don't have that either. We can learn all sorts of things from Minecraft, right? Okay, once your world comes back up, we have that saved, so it's on your device. We're going to go into number 9. It doesn't matter where you are in your build or where you are in your world. On your hotbar or on your keyboard, we're going to hit the number 9 to show that portfolio. In the bottom right, you'll notice it says open when you right click. So we're going to right click and open that. Now remember, Mr. Gallus told us, hey, we can write a caption in here. So maybe you want to write the actual numbers, okay, that represent whatever you wrote here, okay? Or you could say that this might be structure or problem number 1. Okay, so you could do problem 1. However you want us to know that. Okay.
Maybe you want to label your stuff, right? When you're talking about meters.
Yes.
You say SQ. I know you can't probably make a nice little exponent 2 on there, but you could probably at least write SQ for square unit if you're talking about area.
Yep. So here I'm going to do this one because this one was really easy. This was my 2 by 2. So my area is length times width. So my area is going to be equal to 4 And what is area measured in?
Square units.
So I can go SQ and I can just do units. Okay, so maybe I put the area in there, and then I can do the perimeter is equal to, what is that area all the way around? 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is, right, 8?
Yeah.
And what is my label on that one?
Ooh, there's a little tougher one. I guess it depends on what we're using, right? But it's just units, wouldn't it be in this case if we're not sure what it is?
Yeah.
Could be meters, could be feet.
Could be whatever, right? But it's a block, so we're just going to use units. When you get all of your captions on here, however you're going to label them so that we know, okay, and we should be able to see your answers on your slates. Then what you're going to do is you're going to export that portfolio. So we're going to click on export. What this is going to do is it's going to save this whole portfolio as a PDF file, okay? And so again, if you want to save that to your downloads, that's a great place. It's quick and easy to find. If you want to do your desktop, I stay away from my desktop just because it can get very messy. So I will do it in my downloads. Notice it already puts your name in there for you and the name of your world and the date that you did the assignment. Okay, so we just go ahead and click save, and it's going to save that portfolio as a PDF. Now we can close that portfolio, hit escape, save and exit. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Padlet, and I'd like you guys to add your work to our Padlet. So I'm going to show you how that goes. Okay, so let me go to our Padlet.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr.
I was
Gallus.
just going to say, the nice part about this is you're going to turn it into a Padlet for us today. But if your teacher or something was using this in class, they would probably just have you turn it into, like, whether you're using like maybe a Microsoft Teams or Google Class or whatever it is that you're using, whatever platform you can turn this file into.
Right. It's just like giving them a Word document or any other file.
Right.
Okay. So what we're going to do is, those of you that are in Ms. Blauser's class, you're going to click the plus sign here. If your teacher's name isn't here, you can have your teacher go up and edit this section here by clicking on these 3 little dots, and we can rename it and put your teacher's name there. That way, all of you can go and click on this plus sign. And so class number 2 is going to be all here. And we're going to go in and type, this is going to be, let's say this is Mrs. Nix's here, just as an example. That's my name for my assignment, and I'm going to use this icon right here on the left. This is upload. So I'm going to click upload, and we're going to upload that PDF file that we just saved. And I saved it to my downloads. Remember, it has your name on it, and it's a PDF. So here is my file with my name, the name of the file, my work, excuse me, and the date. So I simply click that and click open. It then puts that into this little box for me. And if I want to write a message and say, here is my work, I can do that. And I simply click publish, and it posts it right here in the Padlet. So everybody that's in the second class or Ms. Blauser's class, you're going to put yours directly under this column. Our second class will go in this column. Third class, if we have more classes, go ahead, teachers, and add a section for your class. Put your name on it, save it so that your students can click the plus sign below and add their PDFs to the Padlet. Okay, are there any questions on that? All right, Mr. Gallus, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can share yours and wrap us up here.
Good deal. Sounds like a plan. We will switch over back to our little PowerPoint here. And we're going to go to this guy right here. We're going to go to some things that we have coming up. So we did talk about math today, but we do also, we're going to relate it to some other ones. So coming up real soon, we're going to be talking about language arts. Eventually, we'll get into science. I believe the March 8th one, we'll probably be talking a little bit about social studies. Minecraft's a great way to recreate historical places and events. Oh, it's wonderful. And then, of course, we're going to wrap things up a little later this year, talking about coding, which I think you are very passionate about in there, Mrs. Nix. But I think it's kind of a fun way for you to kind of demonstrate some of those computer science skills inside of Minecraft. Some of you may know a little bit about that, maybe not. If you did participate today, though, we will have some digital certificates for you as the student, where we can hard copy a little, we'll get one that's mailed to you in your classroom. Okay? And then if you don't mind going on to this little link that we've provided for you and filling out a little post-lesson survey, we would much appreciate it so we can see how we did today. Other than that, Mrs. Nix, I don't know about you, but I feel like that was a lot of stuff, a lot of information.
It was a lot of information. I want to say thank you to all of our Minecraft mavens and all of our math mavens today for helping out your fellow classmates. We hope that you understand perimeter and area a little bit better. And hey, you know what? You can always go back in and learn volume at a later time if you didn't get a chance to do that. But thank you for being with us. We hope to see you guys here on January 18th for some language arts, because you know Minecraft can be incorporated into any classroom, into any, just about any lesson.
And think about other ways you can put it in math too.
Oh, yeah, so many ways.
Possibilities, they're endless.
There we go. All right, well, thank you everyone. We're so happy you joined us today.
Thank you.
Happy learning.